We got a guy there.
Not very often can you find a World Series champion on the coaching staff of a Division III college baseball program. But for Chris Coste, there isn't any other place he'd rather be. A Fargo native who played his college ball here at Concordia College in Moorhead, Minnesota, Coste never had a doubt about where life was going to take him.
I think since I was 4 or 5 years old, my first memories were watching my grandfather play softball. And my grandfather wasn't a great athlete, but to me, I thought he was the best player in the world, so I wanted to be like him. Being a baseball player was my identity from the age of 5 years old.
His ambitions set at such a young age, Coste grew up with a mentality that defined his style of play.
He said many times over the course of his career, for them to make me quit playing this game, they're going to have to rip this jersey off my back.
Bucky Burgal knows baseball. He's now in his 35th season as the Cobbers manager, and he had a front row seat for Coste's record-breaking career at Concordia.
He could do it all. He could swing it, fielding ground balls. The ball always stayed in his glove and never bounced out. And he's one of the best guys I've ever coached as far as getting the ball out of the glove and the ball on its way. He was a clutch performer.
Coste set 15 records at Concordia as a third baseman and a closer. After his college career, he played 11 years in the minor leagues before getting called up to the majors as a member of the Philadelphia Phillies.
When I got the call that I was going to the big leagues, honestly, I didn't believe it because I'd had many dreams leading up to that for many years. Like I'd wake up and I'd in my bed and I'd be, it'd be a January day in Fargo and it'd be snowing out and I'd be mad because I thought my dream was real. So when I got the call, I was pinching myself like there's no way this is happening, it's a dream.
In retrospect, Coste's promotion to the big leagues was just the first in a series of his dreams becoming reality.
Curveball struck him out. The Phillies are National League East champions. Look at the seat on the field. Look at the seat on the stands. This is incredible.
Swing and a line drive towards straightaway center field. That's going to win it for the Phils. What a comeback. 4 hits off the bench for Chris Coste.
In 2008, Coste and the Phillies were just 4 wins away from fulfilling the ultimate dream as they faced off with the Tampa Bay Rays in the World Series. Coste was in the starting lineup for Game 1 as the Phillies' designated hitter.
How I found out, oddly enough, was I had done phone interviews through Baseball Tonight, so the producer had my number and he sends me a text message and says, Chris, if you guys win Game 1, will you come on the show tomorrow do a phone interview? And I'm like, I don't even know I'm starting. So I type back in, how do you know I'm starting? He's like, I got the lineups in front of me, you're starting. So I found out I was starting Game 1 from a producer at ESPN.
The Phillies won the World Series in 5 games, and Coste and his teammates paraded down Broad Street. After waiting more than a decade to get his shot in the majors, he was now defined as one of the few people to reach baseball's pinnacle.
The only way I could equate it was, imagine you won the lottery for $600 million. The disbelief you would have, there's no way this is happening to me. When we're in the dog pile on the mound, that's what it felt like. There's no way this is possibly happening.
He started out as a kid with the dreams of playing in the big leagues. He ended up as a man with a World Series ring. And after his playing days were cut short by injuries, Coste began a new career in baseball.
I was always preparing for a life after baseball in baseball as a coach or manager because I played baseball all over the world. I played every level a person possibly could play at, whether it's the lowest of independent baseball to AAA to the World Series.
So now Chris Coste is back home, not behind the plate, but at Concordia. He's working with Burgal on continuing the Cobra legacy that began 35 years ago.
He's bringing a vast amount of baseball experience to our program. He's seen baseball and learned baseball that I or some of the players have never seen before.
And as for Coste, his future in baseball isn't nearly as unpredictable as it once was.
My thought was, if I take over for Bucky one day, I want to be like he did and do it like he did, and that is be here for 30-some years until it's time to retire and get on with life. So if I'm a coach, it'll be at Concordia.